Hi, good night. My name is Meka Albania Osharal, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting, TMB for short. Truth Matters Broadcasting is where we discern the truth about religion, the kingdom of the only true God, whose name is Yahweh, and the church. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for being my guest, and thank you for spending time here with us. For those who are joining me for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, to follow and like our page. Follow, like, and share our page. On Facebook and YouTube, you can follow at Michael L. or Michael Sewell SR. And on TikTok, okay, once more. I have to say, give a shout out to TikTok. I've came on here and I spoke about community guidelines. And I said to TikTok on one of my lives, since you're monitoring everyone and you're monitoring what breaks community guidelines, and if we are to share or do it some other page or someone else's page or a friend's page, because we may like what they've been saying about a topic and we'd like to our viewers to hear it, but that we don't know that post violate community standard and we get hit with it. How is it now that it is our fault and that strike is against us? Well, today I tried to post something that I was duetting, and TikTok alerts me as to say we could not post this post because it violates community standard. And I have to say, thank you, TikTok. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. You are, if not one of the only social medias that I know of so far, well, at least for the three that I've used, who actually give us, well, take constructive criticism and say, okay, let me do something about that. And I just want to say thank you to TikTok for that. Man, kudos again. Appreciate that. Because we don't know that we're violating community standard. And if we are violating community standard, you have to teach us. We need you just as much as you need us. We need your platform, but you need us also to be on the platform so your platform can be what it needs to be and grow in the future. We need to grow together. But if we're just being targeted and being violating, and then we don't get a chance to explain ourselves or ask why or learn what we've done, and we're gonna keep doing it. You're gonna keep blocking us. We're gonna keep finding other ways. You know what I mean? So I want to say kudos to TikTok. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for that. Appreciate you for that. All right, so I've been doing a series on evil intelligence. I did 3 parts of that series, and now I'm starting a new series today. And the new series is correcting the wrong. And I always wanted to do a series on reparations because it seems to be the biggest topic of the day. A lot of people are talking about reparation. And, when you look at it, if you look back at why reparation is necessary, and if you were to ask, if you were to put it out there, do African Americans and from the Atlantic slave trade all over the country needs to get reparation? If you look back on all the other ethnicity or ethnic group that have gone through some sort of suffering, they got reparations. So it is not right and it's unfair for us as Black people to not get reparations. But I look deeply into our history. And you have to look into your history, because if you don't look into your history, you're bound to repeat it. If you don't look back into the past, we want to forget the past, because we may want to forget the past, because there's so many negative and so many bad things on, and a lot of people are off the ideology or idea to say, that was yesterday, let's just move on. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you can't move on unless you make peace with the past. The past can hurt. You better believe that. It can hurt, because you are your past. Your past is what got you to where you are today. Your past is your present, and your present is your future. So you can't ignore the past. You must never forget the past. You must never. And you must also teach the past through to your children. How else will they be strong? How else will they know? I went to brunch today with my family. We went to see the movie Devotion. It was a powerful movie. I like to watch black movies, even though, of course, Hollywood always altered the story or add to the story. But when you get an opportunity to see something visually and give you an idea of what was going on, you kind of put yourself in that time frame and see how difficult it was. You can actually feel the pain, and that's why they call it a movie. It's designed to move you emotionally. But if you can set your emotion on check and your feelings on check and look at the message to the movie, that which is seen and that which is not seen, then you can draw a conclusion, you can draw a suggestion from it, and you can take away something from that. And that's why I like to watch movies, so because I learn a lot. You also learn what is in the eyes of the promoters, what's in the eyes and the vision of the writers. What were they thinking? You get to see it. You look at the display. You get look at the parallelism. You look at the chiasm. You look at the storyline and the message, and you look at the sublime messages. I don't just watch movies, guys. I don't just some people go there. No, I watch movies. When I watch movies, I watch movies because I honestly believe that this is how the powers that be indicate to us here what's about to come. This is why I knew that we were going to have a black president. You see it in the movies. When you see, because remember, I tell you, the mind, the power, the battle is for your mind. And if you understand this, ladies and gentlemen, if you understand that the battle is for your mind, and everything is that you see, taste, touch, feel is an upload into your mind, then it's easy to download your mind as well. You're being programmed every single day. You've been programmed to think, programmed to touch, programmed to feel. Every aspect of your life is uploaded into your brain. And sometimes you think you're making decisions and you're making this decision and you want to feel independent, but you don't realize that the information that's in your brain, even the decisions that you're making, you don't realize that it was put there. And most people are still being led astray today. And so reparation is a very interesting topic because it gives you an insight to where we are, what's going on, why is it taking so long after the Emancipation Act in 1863? Why is it taking so long for reparations? Why? Why? You must understand, when it comes to black folks in America and around the world, you must understand this, ladies and gentlemen, that we are at the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. And we were put there because of our disobedience. And you must understand your history. You must understand who you are relative to your genealogy. Your genealogy is very, very important. You see, you were taught that, we're one in Christ. And therefore, if you're one in Christ, then there's no more Jews, Gentiles, Greek, slave, bond, or free. We're all one. Now, if you look at that statement and you look at the scriptures, you say something is not right, because what the Most High God said about himself and what he said about us as a chosen people, you must understand that he has chose a people above the rest. He has chose a people unto himself. We must understand this. And we must understand the world at large. We must understand deception and how it works. You must pay attention to deception, ladies and gentlemen, because in the last days you are being deceived. Even when someone gave you something and you feel like they're rewarding you and you're getting this, what you well deserve, you don't understand. It's a plie, it's a plot to make you think you deserve what you're getting, but you don't understand that what you have been receiving is your demise. I watched there's a movie on the creation of the David story of the Bible. And if you are a Bible scholar, you have any understanding of Bible, or you do read it from time to time, you may have seen or heard the story where David saw a woman bathing. His actual name is Doeg, by the way. Saw a woman thing. When he saw that woman, he mine, and he knew he had to have this woman. Being the king at the time, if you look at kings back in the days, if you look at kings today, or celebrities today, they can get any man, any woman they want. It's just simple. Send for that woman, and a woman will gladly, just for the fame and the experience of having someone famous, or being with someone famous, or being with someone powerful or rich. Anything can happen. Well, David wanted that woman, and David was going to have that woman at whatever cost, at any cost. Found out that the woman is married. So what he did, he was kept sleeping with the woman. What ended up happening, the woman got pregnant. He has a problem. The woman's husband is at war, who works in his kingdom, who is one of his most trusted servant, soldier. So the man is at war, so there's no way he could get his wife pregnant. Well, David made a plot, and what David did was he said, "All right, I'm gonna have to get rid of the husband." Well, first he tried to bring the wife, bring the husband back from war, get the husband drunk, try to send the wife home to sleep with her husband, and then it would look like it's his child, the husband's child. Well, the husband refused to sleep with his wife because he felt like, "Prince, don't come in here and open my door like this. No, no, out." My dog, he always pushed my door. And then when he pushed my door, he comes in here and then he wants to go out. And then I got to get up and let him out. Get out. Yeah. My daughter came and got him out. Anyway, just, going back to the story. So David, when he couldn't get him, when his plan didn't work, he said, "Okay, the next thing I'm gonna have to take this man out." Long story short, he gave the man a written note, and when the king gives you a written letter to bring to someone, they put a seal on the letter. Usually, they fold the letter and they put the candle and they put a seal on the letter. So if the letter breaks or the seal break, the recipient of the letter will know that the letter has been compromised. What the man was bringing was his death sentence. He didn't realize it. It's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of times we're bringing our death sentence and we don't know it, because our death sentence is in the form of something nice, something good happening to us, something good happening for us, and we don't realize that that is a trap to sink you further down in the ground. We as a people are looking for some retribution, some reparation. We're looking for something to say, "You've done something to us, and we want it back. We want something. We want to be equal. We fight for equality. We fight for all kind of things." But what we don't realize, ladies and gentlemen, you have to look at your history, and you have to look at Deuteronomy 28, and you got to look at why you are in the situation you are. It is not a white man issue when it comes to us. Yes, we understand the history. We can see it. It's clear like day. I don't need to get into all of that. We can see it. But you need to go back. You need to go way back and see, how did you get here in the first place? What is being done to us is being done to us by the Holy God, who have chosen you above all nations. You are married to him, connected to him. He chose you for himself. You bear his name. Slavery was not meant to last so long for us. We are supposed to call upon the name of the Most High God. He would have came and got us. But because of our stubbornness and unwillingness to repent, we sank ourselves deep, deep, deep into slavery. And the advantage that was taken from us, the how we the information we have that was given to us by the Most High God, the mathematical genius of our minds, and the building, the qualities that we had. You look around us today, you look around the world today, these things were built by our hands. When you think about some of the things that was created because of our minds, it's incredible. I believe you're going to get reparation. I believe it. It's going to happen. There's something now called social credits. And social credits is going to be a really good thing when it comes to the fact that you're struggling to pay bills or struggling to pay back loan. Someone come and just free you up and give you all of this freedom to be able to breathe again. You're going to be so thankful. I heard a very famous quote says, from a TV person or someone in a movie. I heard this, and he says, um, "Oh, I was watching that last night on Shark Tank. There was this girl who invented the the changing heels on the shoes. You know, she have one shoes and she can change it on the heel, and she can put magnets, so you can put a bow on it and stuff like that. Really, really innovative creation. And anyway, she had no startup money. She really had nothing other than the idea. She didn't even have a prototype of the shoes, only the one that she built. So she had nothing. So anyway, long story short, one of the sharks came in, fund the whole business, but wanted 70% of the business. She had a choice to make. The choice was, I'm going to lose 70% of my. Our goal. There's always something wrong with the internet. I noticed this. It's designed that way, right? Because what I'm saying makes sense, and what I'm saying, those powers that be don't want you to hear it. So if the internet's gonna mess up, these things are gonna mess up. We're coming to a time where, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to a time very, very soon where speaking like this will get me arrested, tried, persecuted. You know what I mean? Because anyone that open the minds of the people, the eyes of the people, will become enemies to the states. We see this; it's in our history, and we don't. We know that the God we worship does not is not in control of this world. And when I say in control, not that he's not in control of it, but we know that the leaders of the world. Let me put it this way: the leaders of the world does not worship the God who actually is in control of this world. The leader of the world doesn't worship this God. And since God, Yahweh, has given man dominion, then he is playing this thing out according to his word, and everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything is going according to the plan of Yahweh. So don't feel like Yahweh is somehow not in control, or men just having their way, and then Yahweh's gonna just come in and step in, and then no, he's in full control of everything that happened on this planet, and asks permission. So everything that's happening is happening according to the will and purpose and pleasure of the Most High God. Now, you got to understand that we're at a place where we're coming to a standstill. We're coming to a dividing line. We're coming to a great divide. Those who are on Yahweh's side and those who are not. And I want to let you know that it's going to get serious, because one of the big things that I've learned just from just having an understanding of who this God is, he's always calling us to be separate. He's always calling us out. But most important, he's always calling us to make a decision. He's always calling us to make a decision. And the call for us is, if you can't give up everything you have, you won't make it in this race. You got to be able to give up everything you have. All right. So the woman with the 30, with the Shark Tank, what she did, she reasoned with herself. She knew she was going to lose 70% of her company to this investor, but she looked at where she's at right now. She said, I got absolutely nothing. No backative, no money coming in. She could have taken her company, take her idea, and she could have pressed on. But she said 100% of nothing is nothing. To have 100% of nothing is nothing. But to have 30% of 100 is something. And I think she makes the right decision by giving up 70% of her company. You think about if she sells 1,000,000 shoes today at $10 a pop, that's $100 million. Now you might say, well, the investor will get 70 or 700 of that $100 million. But what is she getting in the process? $300 million she never had. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to look at, what are you able to gain by giving up something? And I think this is what I want our people to understand. If you're looking for reparation from those who enslave you, you have nothing. I want to be very sensitive here. You're looking for reparation from the one who enslaved you, then you're saying that the one who enslaved you has to admit it, that he enslaved you. I say wait for that. Keep fighting for it. You're going to see. Because what most people don't realize, if you really look up the word itself, reparation is not just about giving money. Reparation has 5 elements to it. 5 elements to it. There's emotional healing that has to take place, ladies and gentlemen. Emotional healing. It's a lot. You think about, if you think about 1863, before 1863, and even after. But let's just go to 1863, when the Emancipation Act was signed and delivered to the people. The promise was that the people would get an 40 acres and a mule. That's stability. That's something to say, okay, now you can work, now you can be a productive member of society. But that never happened. Remember now, the slaves could not read nor write. Well, at least some of them couldn't read and write, right? Those who secretly were able to read and write. But the majority of slaves couldn't read and write. So they couldn't read a sign, they couldn't read. How are they gonna get employment? Who's gonna employ them? And then to go from one place to go to another place where the plantation owner may just treat you as slave again. And you have to remember in 1863, when the Emancipation Act was signed, I think Will Smith is doing a show now where we're just looking at it, how some of the slaves were not even freed by that Emancipation Act because some of the slave owners did not let the slave know that they were free. But what I want you to look at, I want you to look at the facts. So now here you have millions of people who are supposed to be slave, who have no house, no land, nothing. But you're free. Free to do what? Can't go to school. You can't do nothing yet because who still own the schools? Who own all the production companies? Who own the backside? The slave masters. And even if they hire you, they're going to put you right back in the same place where you were working for little and nothing. So you have to understand, man, and then the Jim Crow laws and the redlining and all these different things. You have to understand. And I know, the majority of white people in this country might think, okay, if a black man work hard and pull himself up by his bootstraps, he can have the American dream. In order to pull yourself up by your bootstrap, you have to have a boot. And most of these slaves did not have a boot. And I know you're thinking to yourselves, well, it's equal opportunity for everyone. I'm asking you to take a look at the world you're living in, because there's so much you just don't understand. Did you know? Oh man, let's see here. Did you know? Do I have look like I got freeze up on TikTok? Am I freezed up, y'all? Or can y'all hear me here? My internet is acting up, of course. Can y'all hear me on TikTok? If you can hear me, just type yes. I don't see my comments moving. So I'm thinking I'm froze. I don't see anyone joining. Hi, y'all on TikTok. Can y'all hear me? Okay, good, good. All right. Thank you, Barbara. What you don't understand is systemic racism. And I think most people don't understand it. Now, I come from a country, to the United States, where though we had racism there and we had classism there and colorism there, we never understand it to the extent as we do here in America. Because in my country was not majority white. My country is majority black, with a splash of Chinese and a splash of Indian. And now, if you go to Jamaica, you see a lot of white Jamaicans. Some born there and invest there. If you go, Jamaica now is totally different from when I was a boy growing up. We understand colorism. We have a browning versus dark skin. Um, okay, and that's the kind of attitude that we have mostly, like the house slave versus the field slaves. But then you have classism, those who have money and those who don't. So I understand that growing up. But because the majority of people were black, you never really see it. You never really see that. It didn't have such profound effect on us as it would in America. So when I came to America now, I start to see these things differently. I start to see racism in its highlight. I start to understand why someone would hate me because of the color of my skin. Um, Someone could hate me by my language, the way I speak, the patois, the broken patois. I could understand all of these things. I start to see it. I start to experience it. I start to understand it more and more. And as like I said, the country I come from, I'm always ambitious. Like I'm not looking for no handout from anyone. I will work for what I got, and I will go up. And I may be one of those blessed or intelligent ones who didn't come from a systemic oppression. So when I come to this country with a different mindset from one that lives here, that might lives here and see it and face it every single day. When I came here, I recognize it. And what you do in a situation like this, you just suffer in silence. You never speak about these things. Why you never speak about it? Because you lose your position. You lose your opportunity. You could lose. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've lost because I opened my mouth, because I spoke up, because I say that is not right. No, I want no part of that. No, I can't do that. No, that's unethical. I lost many opportunities because of that. Because I refuse to bow down to that environment. So you have to develop a skin where, okay, you can come in, keep your head down. This is one of the things you were taught growing up. Keep your head down and just keep moving. And what you don't understand, what that mean, what your parents are telling you, what your bosses are telling you, what your friends are telling you, is to shut your ass, shut your mouth, and just go. That you can't think about your feelings, you can't think about yourself, you can't think about you have to think about your wife, you have to think about your children who you got to feed. And so you work in an environment where you are muzzled. You work in an environment where you can't truly express yourself because you're in fear of losing something. I When this Black Lives Matter movement prop up, it I work amongst white people. When I started to work at this company, I was one of three Black person that worked there. And I remember asking the officials, I'm like, and the higher up, the president said, "Where are the Black people in this company?" And they literally said to me, "The environment we live in, the era we live in, is not much Black folks." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to do something about that." Well, I like to think that I did something about that because I brought my son in, I brought my my brother in, my daughter in, I brought some friends in. I'm no longer with the company, but I like to believe that I have a strong influence on how many Black people are working there now. And we got a good portion of Black people working there now. When I first started, I was one of three. One on the third, which I was on the third shift, one on the second shift, and one worked in the half white, uh, 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 half white, half Black, work in the office. And that's the environment I came into. So to make an impact in an environment like this, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Right? I know what I'm talking about. I know what I see it. I've lived it. I understand it. But for me, I'm an exceptional young man. I'm an exceptional man. um, I don't keep my mouth shut, but I have marrying to my beautiful wife, I've learned a lot from her. I learned how to be diplomatically correct and be able to say what I need to say without sparking the alarm that will really set people off in an environment where you can talk about these things. It set them off in their own private environment when nobody's looking, and you can always tell because you'll come back the next day and you can see that your words had an effect. But there are people like me who think like me, who understand like me, that is not of my complexion, that works in these companies as well. So we have to learn that, okay, though I'm a Black man and I'm in an environment of all white people, there are white people that think like me. They may not understand like me, or they may not have my experiences, but they think like me in terms of equality, in terms of what is right in terms of morals, good morals. And I've used those people, and those people has used me, and together we've made a difference. But it come down to a point where you can only fight for but so long. You can only fight for but so long. And so I just want to tell my hearers today, reparation, if you're looking for it, understand this: it's coming. Your reparation is coming. But you must understand something. If you're looking for reparation from the ones who enslave you, know this, and know this for certain, that when they give it to you, remember I told you this. When you receive it, you will be so snared and so trapped, you will not be able to leave, to leave it. You will not be able to leave. You've been waiting for it for so long. And when it's given to you, it's going to trap you. And that's why you must heed the words of the Most. Heed the word of Yahushua. The word of Yahushua is that you must, unless you're willing to give up everything you have, this road will not be the road you walk on. The road to the kingdom. You must understand that true reparation comes from the one true God. True reparation comes from the one true God. I know the plans I have for you. A plan to prosper you and not to harm you. A plan for a hope and a future. Understand this. Know this. Come to realize this. If you put your life in his hands, I'm telling you, all these things will be added onto you as well. I had a conversation with my sister too today. And my sister's in Jamaica, and I was talking to her about life. And she was telling me, man, she's been working since she was a little girl, and she's just getting so tired of it, and she's coming home late. And by the time she get the kids to bed and make food, when you go home, when you work, and come home, you make dinner. So you do a second job, and you got kids coming from school, and you got husband coming home hungry, and they get home around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you eat, and then you can't just go to bed because now your belly's full. So you're staying up, but you can't keep your eyes open. So you end up going to sleep anyway. You wake up in the middle of the night, you do it all over again. You go 5 o'clock going to work. You do that for 30, 40, 50 years. It's just normal. It's normal for the working man. It's normal for the working woman. But you get to a point in your life where you say, man, is this my life until I'm dead? And if 65, I get to do that at 65. And someone said you get to do that till you retire, and you put up a little retirement, you save some money for retirement, and you decide you're going to be retired at 50, 65. And if you're given 3 scores and 10, you only have 5 years left. If you are blessed to live that long. And then you ask yourself the question, you've been spending your life working, when you look at a mortgage, think about a mortgage. I have a mortgage. I have a mortgage on my house. And when I look at the numbers of my mortgage, the rate of payments I'm giving here for the next 30 years, the rate of payment that I'm giving here, by time I pay off my house in 30 years, I would pay 3 times what my house is worth. So a mortgage ain't doing me no good. You think by you having a mortgage, it's not doing you any good. So you have to find a way to leverage your property to the point where it's making you wealth. It's giving you wealth. You see what I'm saying? You have to leverage this, because a mortgage becomes a liability, which is taken from you. And yes, you got some tax bracket, but you have to, because of the new laws on taxes, you have to be you have to reach a certain bracket before you can even write off on your house. So if you don't have those certain, if you don't reach those certain bracket, you can't write off your house. So no, you got to find out those tax codes, and you got to find out what can you do to leverage your house. You understand what I'm saying? So your house become a liability. So you have to make your house an asset. And over time you build equity in the house. But you're putting in to get a 4% return at the end of the year, or a 7% return at the end of the year, which you can't just go get if you want it. It is not like money in the bank. You have to meet a certain requirements to get equity out of your house. So if you don't have a good credit, and you don't have good if you don't have a good job, or if you're in business and you're not making enough money, they won't give you the equity out of your house. And that's the system. So you might think, okay, man, I want to buy a house. And you might think, oh man, I want to live here and I want to drive this car, but you don't understand that these things that you are so programmed to go out there and get. You don't understand that these same things are trapping you. These things are holding you into a cage, because now you got to go out there and work. You got to go out there and make it happen. You got to go out there. You got to go out there and put in the work, put in the work, put in the work, put in the work to keep what you have. And let's say you go 15 years straight. You go 15 years straight and you pay all the bills 15 years straight. But this one year you break your leg or something happened and you're no longer able to work, and you didn't plan accordingly. You're 15 years gone down the line. They come take the house. Do you know if you owe one payment and it goes into default, they take your house for the one payment? Do you know if you owe taxes on your house, they can take your house for one payment, $300, $400. If you can't pay that $400, they come and take your house for $400. You got to understand how yeah, rich dad, poor dad taught me a whole lot of things. This guy taught me a whole lot of things. Understanding how debt work and use debt to make money. I worked my whole life to get out of debt, and I can tell you, it's a damn good feeling. It's a damn good feeling to be debt free, to don't owe anyone. It's beautiful, man. But you get out of debt and you start business, so you borrow more money, or you get into a place where you borrow more money to do business, so you're always in debt. And you say, okay, this is righteous debt, because now you're building something that's going to make you money. But what you need to understand is this: there's a way to use debt to make money. And so I've spent my whole life trying to get out of debt when I could have used debt as a leverage to make money. But I didn't understand this. Now I'm learning this, and it's mind-boggling, because it's like, man, how simple is that? How when you think about, like, for instance, a credit card, the power of a credit card, somebody lending you money to spend that money and to pay an interest on that money. And here's what I do. When I get credit card back in the days, I was spending on vacation, I was spending on buying things, and I was spending I was not leveraging that money. I was spending that money on stupidness. I was spending my money on things that wasn't money. And one of the things I have to say, one of the issues that when it comes to money is the way you believe. It's your belief system. We have this Christian belief system where we feel like if you go after money, if you're putting yourself out there, you're walking in sin. And that is not true. It is not true, ladies and gentlemen. The love of money is the root of all evil. not money. You need money. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks very highly about money. And the scripture says, money answereth all things. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Go look it up. Google it. You go look it up. It's there. So if you don't have money, you probably don't have the answer. And you have to understand how money works. Money in and of itself is worthless. The paper worth nothing. The money is backed by a value. The money is backed by a promise. There's really no value to the paper itself. It's a promise. It's a promise. Money is like a promissory note. Money is not an asset. And that's why most rich people today don't have money. You don't see them carry money. If they want to pull off in money, they have to order it from the bank. And the bank have to take 2, 3, 4 days, and then they tell you come pick up the money. So if you want $100 million, you just gotta order it, and then they make the $100 million for you, and then they send a Brinks truck, pick it up, drop it off at your door, and then you can pile it up on your dresser and bathe in it and swim in it and go crazy with it. But most rich people today are not rich from money, they're rich from asset. They understand something we weren't taught in school, and we weren't taught as Black people, how to leverage and to use assets. We weren't taught the primary income stage, or passive income versus trade income, and versus all these different. We weren't taught that. And so if you're spending your time learning about money and how money works, you're doing a very good thing for generation to come. Like, for instance, we were never even taught that you can use your very debt can be a source of income. When you die, you leave, you have a life insurance for your next generation. You're helping the next generation to become better financially than where you were. And you can set up you can set up what is it called? It's eluding me right now. But you can set up something for your children so they don't waste your money. Most people today never think about their debts, man. I'm calling this session correcting the wrong, because I think we've been wronged. And I think, I'm going to do an easy one tonight. I'm not going to spend too much time on this tonight. But I think part of correcting the wrong is to know where you went wrong in the first place. And you have to admit to yourself that you were wrong. The good thing about our God, man, he's abundant in mercy, long suffering, gracious. And if you go to him and ask him some things, man, and ask for help, insight, man, he will do it. Children of Yahosharel, I need you to wake up, man. If this world lasts another 100 years, you see what's happening. This world is going into the system of this world has so been set up. It's just one little disaster, one something that's going to push it over the edge. We will no longer have cash. We'll come into a cashless society. Everything is already set up. All of the pieces are in place. The world organization is in place. The one world government is in place. I shared a video today and that gives some information on it, and I think that's the video TikTok said is violate community standard. But the messages, information, all these things are going to be sanctioned. You're going to understand that every movement that you make is going to be tracked. Everything, it's happening. It's not like it's not happening. It is happening right now. Every move you make, every breath you take, somebody's watching, and you're being tracked. And you have to understand, this is all happening because the powers that be, the powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places, do not want the God Yahweh returning back to his people and his people returning back to him. So they will control every facet of production, every facet of life, from seed to building to production to goods to food, every facet. You pretty soon you can't fish in the sea. It's going to be that crazy. Pretty soon the rainwater that falls out of the sky is going to be owned. You can't gather water. You don't understand. You see these movies and you you remember nanites, nanobots. I remember the first time I watched that in a cartoon in the early 70s, yeah, mid 70s. Superman, nanites, small little microscopic computers, nanites. And how they and I said, you look at these things, it's just movie. It's just a friction of someone's imagination. But you have to understand something. The power of the imagination, man, to create the reality, it is incredible. You got to go back to what Yahweh said when he says in Genesis 6, when he says, when he come and visited the hearts of men, he said, the hearts of men, every inclination, every thought of their imagination were evil all the time. You have to look at what he says. He looked at their heart. He looked at their minds. And he said, I got to put an end to it. I got to destroy this off the face of the earth. We're getting to that place again where right is wrong and wrong is right. We're getting to a place now where good is bad and bad is good. We're getting to a place where do as thou wilt, think as you want, do what you want, as long as you do it in the construct of the laws that is made, are given. These things are happening, ladies and gentlemen. So you can't be a friend of this world any longer if you choose to worship the God who created heaven and earth. And I think what people need to understand is that this God is not playing around. The heavens and the earth belong to him, and his name will be glorified in the earth. And we are that glory. The earth will be filled with his glory because he create us in his glory. Remember Yahushua said in John 17:3, he says, uh, glorify me with the glory that I had with you before the world began. I have glorified thy name and I will glorify it again, saith the Most High God. We were created in his image. It's going to be a good fight. And we're just going to stand back and watch it happen. Because the vengeance is not ours. It belongs to our God. So don't waste your time looking for no reparation. Don't worry about it. If they give it to you, take it. But don't look for it. Look for a better reparation, one from the Most High God. By the gift of human beings. Don't be trapped by the apologies that they give, because here's the thing. They are expert liars. Right in your face and give you an apology, and at the same time destroying you. I don't know if you guys see Wakanda, Black Panther 2. My family and I went to see Black Panther 2. It was nice. It was very interesting. I won't spoil it for you. Go check it out. But there's a scene in there you'll see. If you go and check out the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a scene in there, man, where I won't tell you. I can't tell you because I don't want to I don't want to spoil it for you. But there's a scene in there about what I'm talking about. And you're going to see it for yourself. The peace treaty over here, you're talking peace over here, but you're sending people to kill me over here. Expert liars, man. And that's what a deceiver does. Remember, deception is coming from men. Take heed that no man deceive you. Your deception will come from the evil intelligence. Your deception will come from intelligent men and women sit in front of a mic talking to you, sitting in front of a room talking to you, making laws that you think is benefiting you, but at the same time crushing you. Trust no one. Trust no one. Put your trust in him. Yahweh and Yahweh alone. All right, that's all I have for tonight. I'm gonna grab something to eat and go relax. Please be praying for me. I look at my live right now on TikTok. I only have 3 people. And I know Barbara is one of them, and I know Audrey is one of them. I don't know who the third person is. I know people came in and came out of my live, but you have to understand how the algorithm works too. And I've been doing some study on that. I've just realized how it works. That even people who might show up, the algorithm will cut them off or give them something else to watch. Yeah, man. Let me tell you something. We have no idea. People have no idea. The more and more I see how these things work, is the more and more I realize why there was only 8 people in the ark. The more and more I watch life, the process of life. You remember Audrey? You remember Barbara? When we were a group, when all of us come together under the name of Yahweh, and how we were thriving as a group and we were going to do great things in America. And the name of Yahweh would have been lifted up, and how we were going to come together and make his name known and praise his name on American soil. What happened? What happened to the group of people who said, yes, I'm going to go the distance? What happened? You see what happened. I know. But not everyone who is called is chosen, because not many people understand what was going on. We say, you must drink my blood and eat my flesh. They took it literally. When the 10 leper was healed, and they were sent to go show themselves to the priests, and they were supposed to give a gift according to the law of Moses. All 10 of them was going. But when one look at himself, he realized he was healed. The gratitude and the attitude he had was, I gotta go back. I can go later, but I gotta go back. And he went back. He went back, ladies and gentlemen, to Yahushai and dropped on his knees, thanking him. And what Yahushai said, man, stick in my mind. He said, where are the other 9? Were not 10, all 10 healed? But only this one came back to give glory, to thank Yahweh. If you look at the message in that, you will see that only that one who came back went another way. The other 9, though they had healing, though they had cleansed, they were cleansed, they went on this way, and they miss the true blessing of the one that went that way. I believe, Audrey, and I believe, Barbara, that you two are very, very special. And I tell you, just hold on. Hold on. Because Yahweh is going to do something in both of your life to let you know that he's there. Let me just encourage you that when Yahweh say it is time, don't hesitate. When Yahweh come to you and said, it is time. Get yourself ready to leave everything behind. Everything behind. Everything behind. Everything. When Yahweh says it is time, don't hesitate. Don't even ask, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? If he said it's time, then he has everything planned for you. Just make sure you do your part. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Do your part. Make sure, I remember one time when things wasn't going right for me, and they were coming to take what belonged to me, what I had, what I possessed. And I remember I'm in a position where I couldn't do anything about it. And so all I did was I just packed up and I sit on the box and I said, Yahweh, I'm ready. Take me where you want me to go. My life was changed. And let me tell you something. I want you to look back at your life and look back at some of the things you go through. And I'm speaking to you, Barbara and Audrey. I'm just speaking to you two right now. Take a look at your life, look at the things you go through and see where Yahweh has brought you from, and recognize that he was preparing you for what he have in store for you to do. You were prepared. You were being prepared for work, because he has a work that he's going to do in and through you. And let me tell you something, everyone around you is going to be blessed because of what he has prepared you guys to do. So just get ready, because I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to drop everything, give up everything. I'm ready. And we're human beings. We're accustomed to our lifestyle. We're accustomed to the things we know, and it's kind of difficult to know that you're going to leave all these behind. But you have to understand, like our father Abraham, who had to pack up all his stuff and left his father's house, left his country. We have to realize that if he never did that, we would have never had the gifts we had today. His decision was not for him alone. It's for us today. We have to look at all the disciples for Yahushai, who he called, and they left their jobs, they left their house, they left their work, they left their family to go follow. And we have to look at the reward because of their obedience. We have to look at these things, and it doesn't change. It never changed. It's the same thing is happening to us today. We are now the present for the future. All right. I'm out.